everybody, it's Dawn here from the International College of Energy Healing, and it's a beautiful sunny day here in Victoria on Vancouver Island. So today's video is about the ancient practice of scrying. We're going to be focusing on scrying with ink for the video today, and I will cover other forms of scrying in separate videos which I'll link below when they're posted. I think that most of you have probably engaged in scrying at some time in your life. You may not have known it, but if you've ever gazed at, clouds or in fire and seen some shapes in them, well, you've been scrying. So basically, scrying is finding meaning in random patterns in order to gain insight and wisdom. The word scrying itself is rooted in Old English from the word descry, which means to make out or to reveal. So really, scrying is a practice that helps us to tap into our sixth sense and our intuition. There are many different ways to scry, so as I said, I'm going to be exploring those in later videos. But from crystal ball gazing to using smoke, wax, water, mirrors, they're just a few of the ways, and I will be covering those. So scrying is an ancient practice. It dates back as far back as 3000 BC. In China, they used eggs, so they cracked eggs as a divination tool. Egyptians would scry in oil, and probably one of the most famous scryers is Nostradamus. He used hydromancy, which is scrying with water. Let's talk about how it works. So as I mentioned before, the practice helps us to tap into that kind of subconscious, higher self, intuitive, knowledge. And, the process itself allows us to get into a meditative state so that we can tap in, seek guidance and insight, and sometimes tap in, have a glimpse of the future as well. But for me, there's another purpose for scrying, and one that I probably do an awful lot more, and that's communicating with spirits. So I use black and glass mirrors to help me make connections, and obsidian slices as well. I will be shooting a video all about that practice, and that's one not to miss. So this one today is going to concentrate on ink scrying. So you'll need a bowl or a container. You want one that has a white inside so that you can clearly see the ink in the water. You'll also need some waterproof ink. Waterproof so that it floats on top of the water before it sinks in. A dropper like this one. This really helps because you can be precise with the amount of ink that you are using. A candle just to set the mood. I always use beeswax candles. If you like incense or essential oils, you can burn any of those of your choice. For me, Nag Champa is my go-to incense. It smells divine, and it immediately puts me into a meditative state. Now, before you start scrying, you will want to cleanse your space in whatever method you usually use. This helps to create a nice energetic container for your scrying practice. And if you are somebody who usually casts a circle before you do any spell work, you will want to do that before you start as well. So let's get going and let's do some scrying with ink. So I have my my water in my container. I like to use spring water because it just hasn't got any impurities into it. So I've added my water into the bowl. And then, before you start to do any scrying, we've talked about cleansing your space, and, if it's your practice to cast a circle to do that. But you'll want to spend a little bit of time just kind of, going inside, not inside the house, but inside yourself, being grounded and centered, maybe doing some nice deep breathing, getting yourself into a really nice, relaxed, meditative state. Now, when you're scrying, you can have a question in mind. You know, if you want to seek guidance on a specific topic or an issue, you can absolutely hold that in your thoughts, or you can just, you know, say, you know, what is it that I need to know today? And see what is revealed from all of that process. So I like to surround myself with white light, set a positive intention, ask for the the highest and the brightest insights to come to me, and then we can get on in the practice of scrying. So as you can see here, I have my my bowl full of spring water. And before you drop in the ink, what you want to need to do is just kind of agitate it a little bit. Just allow the movement, the water to move, and then pick up a little bit of ink in your in your dropper, and then literally you just want to put one drop in for now, and then you just allow that to flow through. See what it is that is emerging as you think about the insight that you want to tap into. So as I look at this, and you might have different interpretations, which is absolutely fine as well, but I see a caterpillar, you know, and I see a caterpillar, you know, emerging and, you know, kind of growing and becoming, you know, a beautiful butterfly. And so for me, this is really about, sorry, it's gone a bit blurred there. So for me, this is really about how perhaps I've been cocooned, you know, and you know we've all been on lockdown, but you know maybe it's about not just physical cocooning, but in an emotional state as well. And if you have a look there, I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to try and point, but there's a picture of a woman there. So for me, that's representing me, and as it's moving around, you know, I can see, you know, like a wolf here as well. So I'm going to, you know, be interested in the symbolism of a wolf. There was a witch's hat that just came into focus then as well. So for me, you know, an earth-based practice is really, really important. So, you know, it's telling me to continue on with that. I can also see like an older kind of witchy woman here as well. It's almost like she's got a, you know, a wand or a staff. And you know, I am that age now where I'm thinking of croning, and so again, this is just another wonderful validation for me that that is the right thing to do, and I'm on the right path. And so you can agitate a little bit more to see if anything else is revealed through. Sorry, it's gone a little bit blurred there, my apologies. I can also see here kind of a you know, a dragon or a phoenix emerging. So again, this is, you know, for me about, you know, just coming into my own. You know, maybe, you know, I'm starting to post more on YouTube. I've got a lot of experience and wisdom to share, and so maybe this is again a great reinforcement that you know, this is the right time for me to step out a little bit more publicly. You know, I've been teaching in-person programs for, you know, more than 20 years now, and you know, really want to, you know, expand out into, you know, into the world itself. So you know, it's, for me, that's just a wonderful validation that, you know, the timing is, you know, is right for me. Now, you can always add in, you know, another small drop, and with this, you know, less is more. And so let's see what happens with this. Just allow allow it to emerge. Now this time it's sunk to the bottom, but that's okay because it's some beautiful patterns. Now when I look at that, you know, I see a heart, I see a physical heart. So, you know, I could interpret that, you know, go and get checked out by the doctor, but that's not how I'm interpreting that at all. For me, being heart-centered is really important in my practice. So, you know, I think that's a really good reminder to stay heart-centered in all of this. The other thing that you can do is, you know, kind of, you know, move around, you know, see the... Now we've got a plane going overhead, so my apologies, it's a little bit noisy. In fact, I think it's a helicopter. Okay, my apologies for that. But you can, you know, kind of change your perspective a little bit, you know, move around, see what, you know, see what the image there. And so when I look at it from this perspective, I see, you know, a woman with hair flowing behind her, you know, kind of really, you know, kind of enjoying the, you know, the wind. And, you know, again, another good reminder for me to get out into the landscape and to connect with the element of air. So really that is the practice. Let me just... So really that is all that's to the practice. It's really easy. What I would say is that, you know, making sure that you don't pour a lot of ink, and I'll show you what happens when you do pour a lot of ink. So if you dump a big load of ink, you tend to get it's almost like an octopus that's just squirted. So you do get a distinct kind of, you know, blob that happens, and it's really hard to gain any insights from that. I also think, you know, it's good just to agitate the water before you start, so that there's some flow and movement to that. And in fact, that's agitated. But again, it's now we've got woody woodpecker. But again, it just looks like the eye of the storm now. I'm not taking that to heart. I think this is just about the amount of ink that's in the bowl. So definitely less is more, and just allow, you know, the movement to reveal the shapes in there, and, you know, whatever you see and whatever you interpret is right. So don't worry about that. So that's all there is to it with the practice of scrying with ink. It's a wonderful practice. You know, again, just to reinforce, don't put lots and lots of ink in there, because it will just go into like a black mess. And of course, the ink is important. So you want waterproof ink. So this is calligraphy ink. I will put a link to that. I'm not affiliated with anything, so I don't make any money. I'll just make it easy for you and put a little link to that. So I found this ink really good to use, and it's just a lovely practice of tapping in and allowing things to emerge. Now, what you want to do is make sure in between scrying sessions. So even if you've got some insights and you want to just dig a little bit deeper, instead of adding more ink to it, what I would do is just tip out the contents of the bowl, put some fresh water in, and kind of start the process again, just asking for, you know, further insight to occur. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I certainly got a lot from my little scrying session. I think there are lots of wonderful messages in there for me. Trust the process, trust what intuitively you're being guided towards, and as I say, it doesn't matter if somebody else looks at that and says, I saw a cat when you saw a volcano. It doesn't matter. It's about just bridging in and deriving some meaning for you. So if you've seen something in my scrying session that I didn't quite see, and you're keen to share that with me, please do comment below. I do want to hear from you. I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. As I said before, there's lots of my practice that I want to share with the world. I've been doing this for almost 30 years now, and now we've got a motorbike going past, sorry guys. I do want to get that out into the world. I think this is my time. I have something to share, and I do want to post more videos. There'll be lots more scrying videos. We're going to do some mirror scrying, some wax scrying, some flames, all sorts of different things. So if you like this one, thumbs up, subscribe. There's more coming.